Alright, we're ready to go with today's shave with a Zenith B10. Been a great brush. It's a boar brush, nice soft tips, decent backbone enough to keep the tips on your face instead of letting it get all wacky. It's been soaking for maybe an hour in distilled water. I've got hard water, so when I soak for that long as part of the break-in process, I wanted to make sure I use cleaner water than my normal tap water. The razor I'm going to use, this is my second time using this Timeless Bronze, and this is the closed solid bar or closed comb version, which means it's the 0.38 gap. And I've found it to be my first use, just kind of a nice blend of good cutting and comfort. Wasn't super smooth, wasn't at all aggressive, kind of right down the middle, and that was with the Viking sword blade from Persona. Kind of an odd blade, a lot of people don't have them. And so we're going to try something more normal today, an Astra Superior Platinum. It's 13 uses on it so far, and so it's not young, but it should be just fine. 14 uses will be today's. And I'll be using my Roger Quintero shave bowl, 3D printed. Instructions, or at least a link to the files if you have access to a printer, are going to be in the description. I have been using this Declaration Grooming Gratiot League Square, if I'm pronouncing that right. I've been using that as a balm, as the salve that they have in the tiny jars for a while, and I enjoy the scent. Finally got a hold of the soap too, and so I'm looking forward to trying this guy out. And obviously at the end I'll throw on the salve after as the post-shave product. This is as you can see the Bison base, which I actually currently prefer over the his new Icarus base. Just by just a little bit. They're both wonderful. So let's start by splashing my face with water, and I think we can move on. I've got oily skin, and I'm using hard water for the rinsing and stuff, but the lather will be built with the water that's in my brush soak cup, which will be distilled. Alright, so Gratiot League Square, it is a used puck. Never used it before, but I mean it's Bison Tallow, so it's going to be a great base. And we'll do my usual 30-second load. Shake most of the water out of the brush. I mean, you can still feel some of it in there, but it's not a lot. So we'll start with the 30 seconds. Oh, and we'll hit 15 seconds right there. The other day I was lathering or loading out of a 2-ounce tub, and that was problematic. I had to keep going back to it and load for a lot longer than I thought. Just foaming like crazy here. 5 more seconds. There we go, 30 seconds of loading. And I'll rinse this off before rinse that off the tub before too much time elapses and the suds are a little harder to wash off, to rinse off. Immediately it starts to not get all frothy, but just a nice kind of low structure lather here. I like how kind of buttery and fatty this particular base is. So funny, the chemicals will cause the soaps to just come up differently. Some soaps, the air just gets sucked right into them, and they are kind of light and they just build up really quickly, which is the opposite of this guy. Just a nice little kind of thick cream is coming up just from the water inside the brush. let's add a teaspoon. I usually start off with a teaspoon. Most soaps can tolerate having that much added. Yeah, this soaked it right up. There are a few who can't, but most can. And yeah, I did Dremel down the two rings that were around the waist of this brush because I found them irritating. I mean, I think the handle is fairly comfortable as it is, but I like this knot a lot, and so I might pull it at some point, put it in a little better handle. Yeah, that scent's coming up. Afraid I mean, this is just a sophisticated scent from Chatillon Luxe, if I'm pronouncing that right, that I just have no clue how to begin to pronounce it, to explain it to you. To me, it's very manly, and apparently white. There we go. I think I smell maybe something like leather, but there are just so many other notes and parts to it that you almost don't think of that when you smell it. So let's just show you after 1.5 teaspoons of water has been added. It's a nice looking little blob there. So I don't usually do personal anecdotes, but this shirt, Sharks, Hatteras Island, Outer Banks, has a little bit of a story behind it while I mix this up. Went in with some friends, go to the Outer Banks, have a little vacation, rented this huge beach house, and it's manageable if you go in with a lot of people. There's like 10 or 12 bedrooms. 10 or 12 people were invited, and so we all split the cost up. Wonderful experience. Even had an elevator in it. How about that, huh? And got there and realized that the suitcase that I had packed all my clothes in, I had left at home. No way to drive back and get it. So a friend of mine went out after I had gone through the first 2 days of wearing the exact same outfit over and over, the one that I had traveled in. And she got me this shirt in one of the souvenir stores. So I was super happy to have something else to wear, and so now I was able to alternate back and forth and wash my shirt and keep a clean outfit. So I remember that every time I put it on. My wife's family had a similar story where they had just finished up, both parents were teachers, just finished up a summer at their cabin up in Michigan, and headed home down south for the school year to start, you know, and all that stuff. And they had taken their clothes and put them in trash bags. And the son's job, one of the son's jobs, was to grab the trash bag with the garbage and throw it out. Well, as you might expect, they get home and realize that they have transported a trash bag of garbage all the way down the trip. And back up in a big bin is a trash bag back up in Michigan full of everybody's clothes. So that was a fun family story for a long time. Now we've got 3 teaspoons of water in the lather. Lather looks great. Nice scent. I think it's very masculine, warm, if you will. It's not, you know, like lemony and sprightly and energetic. it's warm and kind of brooding, maybe. All right, now let's do a little finger check now. We've got 3 teaspoons of water in it. Oh man, that stuff is slick. See, that is why I love the Bison. I can just barely feel ridges on my fingerprints. So how about we go with that? Man, that is next level slick, folks. Very, very nice. All right, so now I don't have tons of lather. Let's just show it to you and show you some properties of it. Well, actually, now that I get it all together, I do kind of feel like it's tons. Let's see how it shakes off there. Yeah. Good bit of elasticity. I think I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Splash my face again. And yes, that is cold water. So with this brush, I am back in my borathon. I am raising up kind of 7 boar brushes at once so that I can compare them all and watch them grow. And now with this use, I believe we are in the 11th use. This is the first brush I'm putting 11 uses on, and so the rest will then follow. Now this looks kind of wet, dry. Looks like I need to add just a little bit of water. So let's do that. Just add a little bit to my brush there. The spray helps to distribute the water evenly across the brush instead of just being big droplets, which I then often find just pouring out of my brush and just dripping down and making a mess instead of being integrated into the lather. Yeah, this is better. A little bit more scrubbing. And just as a reminder, I found out some new information that even, you know, most stiff brushes aren't really doing any exfoliation. And so don't choose a brush thinking that you're doing that. The guy was talking to a dermatologist and kind of confirmed this. The razor, that first pass with the razor, it's what's doing the exfoliation. Okay, so you may be doing your skin a bit of a disservice if you have some kind of pre-shave scrub that you like to do to really clean your face, because if you exfoliate before the shave and you with the pre-shave and then you do the same thing, the same action again basically with the razor, you're double exfoliating. I put quotes on that because I was meaning to say defoliation. And so you're doing it twice and your skin may not need that. It could be a little damaging. So just take that under advisement, maybe do some research, think about that. Man, this soap is slick. Man, I like this stuff. I don't like a lot of his scents. But I definitely like some of them. Oh man, oh, this is smooth. I mean, I can still feel it cutting just a little bit, but it's just barely. This blade is a great match with this razor. So that Viking sword just was a good match for the razor to provide a reasonable shave, but this takes it to the top level. And I could see a person using this blade to shave and then really writing up a glowing review of this razor. And I said something to that effect yesterday, how you can't judge by just one use. So this is marvelous. This is excellent. And Astras are a nice, cheap blade. And so it's always great when you find a blade that's inexpensive. But I tell you what, I mean, the way I shave, the blade cost doesn't really matter too much. Because if I'm getting 60 shaves, 40 shaves out of a blade, it doesn't matter if it's the most expensive blade out there, because it's still going to be pennies per shave, you know, just less. All right, rinse. Leave a little bit of the water on my face. Maybe I won't have to kind of apply as much. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of sprays to the lather here and kind of reintegrate that, since I had to spray my brush a few times. Wonderful, wonderful soap here. This base is just tremendous. Definitely deserves to be in the top tier. And I don't even care about post-shave quality or features, since I've got oily skin. All right, let's look and see if maybe we can tell a viscosity difference here. Oh yeah, the quantity just blew up. I've got just as much lather here as I did when I started the first pass. Very nice. It's a good looking lather. And these brush tips, only a tiny bit of, you know, tip feel, where it's almost like a prickle, but so it's super comfortable. And that prickle will definitely disappear with more break-in as those tips split. I mean, you can barely not even notice it. So it'll get even better. Wonderful. What's the scent strength like on this? Well, it's on my face. Yeah, it's definitely there. It's not super strong. Kind of on the light side. 4, maybe 5 out of 10. Kind of thought it'd be stronger. Okay, let's get this awesome razor and do a cross grain pattern. And also keep in mind, this blade I put in is not a fresh Astra. It has been used about twice as many times as your average shaver likes to use a blade, because they've been told by somebody that you should throw it away when it starts to change feel, when it doesn't seem new anymore. Oh, there are some actions that I do here where I'm getting a higher burst of the scent, you know, like up into maybe the 6 out of 10 range. I could easily see myself enjoying this razor for, you know, desert island razor. If I got stuck with it, I just would enjoy it. No regrets. Wouldn't sit there ruminating, angry that I didn't have some other razor. Very nice. So for me, choosing the blade is going to give you a very different feel. But we'll keep running through some of the other popular options out there, like Feather, Gillette Silver Blue, Gillette Platinum. One of my budget options, Wilkinson Sword, and we'll see how they fare as well. A lot of times I find that if this Astra does well, then a lot of those other ones will too. All right, rinse away. All right, third pass. Load up the brush. Plenty of lather left. Maybe 3 passes in there, so I don't need to do the 30-second load with this soap. I will say what I found out yesterday. Don't let this handle get soapy. It's okay if it's wet. I still have a great grip when it's wet. But if it gets wet and soapy, I found it kind of unsafe to try to manipulate. Not saying it's impossible, but just be very, very careful. So my shave yesterday, even though it wasn't this smooth, was still very good. And so that means it looks like I'm pretty natively finding the angle with this razor, and so that's nice. I like not having to relearn something. I did have a little patch right around here that was not shaved very well yesterday, or as close as it has been lately. So I'm interested to see if this smoother blade, this much more comfortable blade. Oh, well, you never know. Sometimes it looks good. Yeah, that's a trouble spot right there. All right. Sometimes it looks good before you rinse all the water off and dry your face, and then you discover how you can see some tips and length and stuff like that. It's weird how it looks different. All right, nice close shave, and I'm gonna rinse it. Nope, the quality and closeness on this shave were excellent. Really happy with that. Just some tips, the dots of the tips, rather than length. I don't see any length in my trouble spot whiskers. So very cool, very close and comfortable shave. So this is that's the kind of shave I like, where it's smooth while also getting a nice, efficient cut. And I've got several razors that do that already. But I mean, this guy, I don't know, he just feels kind of like a brute. He's heavy, he's blocky, he's not lithe and elegant and, you know, things like that. I got him for a great deal, and so I'm very happy about that. That's an excellent razor, well designed. May not be the prettiest gal on the block, but you could also use it to kill somebody. Put it in your hand like brass knuckles. That extra weight give you some power. All right, so 3 teaspoons, probably should have gone to 3.5 by the time you know, all that other water that I added, but I just didn't want to overdo it. And I knew that I could do what I did and add water to the brush, leave water on my face, different techniques to fine tune it. All right, so yeah, like I showed you, I have quite a bit of lather left over. 3 passes easily, and it's wonderful. The rinses between passes have been just slick, creamy, and luxurious for sure. And that's why it's a top of the line, top tier soap. It's earned that position, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And this is just a Bison base. A lot of people like the Icarus as well, the newest hotness, but I like the buttery feel of this one right here, and this is why. So just 11 uses. This brush is a delight, and it was that at 4 uses as well, and it just gets a little bit better each time. You notice it's not quite opening up and splaying as much as the Simogs, and it's a bigger brush. It's a bigger knot than they are, and I think probably because it has just a little bit more backbone, but the tips are softer, and because there are more of them, I think that divides up the pressure on the face, is my guess. And so really happy with it. Very cool. And this is an inexpensive brush. I think it's a great brush for anybody, experts and beginners alike. I don't know if you were to take this brush and just use it. I don't know if it jumps into being so comfortable as quickly, or this pre-soaking that I'm doing of 1 to 3 hours before each shave, and then letting it dry completely before using it the next time. That's just all I'm doing in terms of break-in. I don't know if that is making a big difference or not, but it is what it is, and I'm really enjoying this guy. I mean, I love Smogs. By the end of this whole thing, I may be a convert to Zenith brushes. I've looked. There's an eBay seller that has kind of become the distributor of these Italian brushes. I believe they are Italian. Over here, and you can get them at decent prices on his eBay store. And I've looked, and he's got some neat handle designs that I think are going to be really cool and ergonomic. Prices aren't that bad, $20 to $30 and less. This is kind of the entry-level one, and it's just, you know, $15 or something like that. And this is a great brush. I'd be happy using this for the rest of my life, at least the way it seems like it's going so far. So very cool. Wooden handled option, resin handled, some neat things. So I'm really impressed with Zenith brushes these days. I will also say about Zenith brushes, the way their site seems to work out in general, that the bristles are all the same, and that's not true with the Smogs. The Smogs have premium and best and super and extra and special, all these different hair grades, and that's awesome. But it's simpler with the Zeniths. They've just got this nice hair, and you choose your handle type, you choose your size. If you want, was this a 24 millimeter, and then you choose your loft. Loft is how distance from here to the top. Okay, and then the 24 or the 26 millimeter is the width of the knot at the base, and or at least the plug underneath here that you can't see. And so you would choose those measurements. There are some with a shorter loft to try to be more scrubby as a good face lathering type brush. There are some where the knot is wider here, but the same height here, just to give you more bristles and, you know, maybe a little bit more backbone for a while until it really breaks in well. And so there are some with extra long bristles that will just expand and carry so much lather. And I think sometimes with those extra long ones, maybe part of the technique is to reach forward with your fingers and restrict the brush knot a little bit using that. And but so it's really interesting what you can choose and think about. But I think this is a great introduction to the Zenith brushes, especially if you are able to trim off that bit right there. Then it's a comfortable handle to enjoy. I like that. I like the resin ones that kind of have the teardrop bulbous type shape, and they have some metal handles as well. So something for everybody, I think. So this soap is not lingering very long on my face, and so I'm glad I have the salve. And I'll get about this much. Here is the little jar. And handcrafted in South St. Louis, Missouri. All right, now the way this stuff works, now the instructions say to put it in your palm, but I find that my palms are concave, and once, if I were to mix this stuff and have it warm up and turn to kind of transparent butter, I can't then get it off my palm unless I want to rub it on my chin, and I don't. So I use my fingertips, kind of like that. And it takes a little extra minute, and so you don't want to have this be part of your post-shave routine if you're in the hurry in the morning, that kind of thing. There we go. And this has got a good scent strength to it. I'm sorry, I've got to do this weird application method. I have a injury right here, and I can't get at certain areas very well, comfortably. That's a nice scent, man. All right, super happy with the way this shave turned out. Very, very happy. This blade is a wonderful match with this razor, at least for my skin. It may not be for yours. It's one of those your mileage may vary things. The brush, one of my favorites in this boar lineup, and you know, I can't wait until we step up with these boars till they get to about 30 uses, because then you can start making assumptions about how they might feel for the long haul, because after they have 30 uses, especially with the kind of break-in I'm doing with them, I think that will, you know, tell a lot about their future. I was super happy to jump into this soap. It was wonderful to be reminded about how slick this soap really is. Just amazing. Super happy about that. Excellent. I want to clean up. And here's a little tip for you regarding these salves. You will sometimes have a little bit of separation. I think he changed his formulation a little bit to help prevent that, but it's not really a big deal. Just get a toothpick, mix it up, reintegrate it, fine. Not a problem at all. And pro tip, don't do like I just did and not put away your razor, clean your razor and all that. Don't do that before you put your, don't do that after you put your salve on, because now my hands are all oily and greasy. And so it's, to clean my bowl and things like that, it's a little harder to grab everything. So I should have slowed down and taken care of that before I put the salve on. I was just really looking forward to it. Now, part of the issue with the Viking sword blade yesterday could have been that it was probably on its just third use. And so it could have been that it didn't smooth out yet. And so I might stick it in later on when it's had 10 shaves in it or so. And it might be quieter. Yesterday it was a little more noisy. Today it didn't have that problem at all. Nice clamp down on the blade, kept the noise down, kept it consistent and smooth. I believe grabbing so close to the edge there just has a really great effect on smooth and consistent shaves, where you don't have the blade chatter that can maybe stir up irritation sometimes, or at least just take away that smooth feeling that's possibly there with the right clamping action on the razor head's part. This Astra Superior Platinum blade has been an excellent blade for me across a good number of razors. So it's definitely one to maybe see if you can put in a sampler for you if you're trying out some new ones. It may work well. It works well for a lot of people. It's a popular blade for that reason. And so definitely want to put in your sampler just to see if it works well for you too. All right, great shave. Smell nice. And I've already covered the equipment, how delighted I am with it. So I hope there was something here for you. I know that I learned this was a great shave to teach me about the bronze and how with the right razor blade, then it becomes a wonderful piece of equipment. Smooth shaver, and while still staying very efficient. So I'm really happy about that. And this, so this feel was more similar to the 68. Maybe not quite as smooth as the 68 from Timeless Stainless Steel, but close. Whereas yesterday, the blade feel caused it to resemble something between the 68 and the 95, kind of right there in the middle. This one was a lot more smooth, coming a lot more close to the 68 feel, which I really enjoy. So who knows? I mean, this is a brute that I might just kind of have a crush on. Who knows? I'm enjoying it, and the weight doesn't seem to bother. It's heavy, but the weight is not bothering me at all. I'm just taking it easy. I love, like I said before, this waistline of the handle seems to be right where I can make use of it and grip it, and that's terrific. Very nice. So, this is Sugar Daddy Shaves. You take care, and good night.